What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're back with some more Monday Night NFL. Tonight we have the Lions taking on the Ravens. Ravens will be playing at home. Should be a good game. Looking at yesterday's free picks for our NFL slate, we ended up 4-2 on the free picks. I gave you guys a Green Bay teaser, which chalked. Green Bay ended up getting beat by the Browns, which was crazy to me. Chargers teaser did cash, so if you guys played that one, it is green for you guys. Then we had Cam Dicker and Brandon Aubrey. Gave you guys free slips on that one. They cashed. Then we had Drake May and Flacco in another slip. Drake May cashed us out, but Flacco ended up selling us again. I think I'm going to have to start fading Flacco a little bit on this. It was close once again, but almost got the sweep. Just wasn't quite there. But that being said, guys, stick around to the end of this video. I've got some player props, and I've got another free teaser for you guys for this Detroit Lions versus Ravens game for tonight. All right, guys, before we jump into our free picks, I need to do a little bit of housekeeping. I have to pick a winner from yesterday's video to win a free month of VIP. I do this in every single video. If this video gets 250 likes, I will be picking a random comment down in the comment section to win a free month of our VIP. So make sure you guys drop a comment, leave a like on the video if you want a chance at free VIP. You do have to be subscribed to win, and let's go ahead and pick our winner from yesterday. So the winner is going to be for Gerardo Leon, maybe. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right, man, but regardless, send me a message on Discord. I'll get you added for that free month of VIP, and they said, let's get it. I hope you had a good day yesterday. I do appreciate all the love and support from every single one of you guys. If you guys do want to get all of our plays, link to our WAPs down in the description. I will say, guys, the Discord is free to join. There's two sections in our Discord, a free area and a VIP area. If you pay the $25 a month or $10 a week, you have access to the VIP area where you'll get every single teaser for every single game that I play and every single prop. If you guys want to join the free area, I do give some free picks away. Like, for example, yesterday, I gave this 4-man kicker slip for free in the Discord. Fairburn chalked me 150 for 1,200 on Prizepicks. Almost cashed, man. Fairburn missed the field goal, a 52-yarder. I mean, it's a pretty long field goal, but he usually hits them, man, and he chalked me on that one. That one hurt pretty bad, but I am going to be giving some free slips in the Discord as well. If you guys aren't a part of that already, links down in the description. Some of our wins from the last 2 days. This is from Saturday and from Sunday. Saturday college football, Sunday NFL. Lots of wins. These are our teasers. Teasers for college football went pretty well. Teasers for NFL was pretty good. We hit more than we missed, but ended up nuking Cowboys a little bit, and Cowboys ended up making me a negative from yesterday, so it is what it is. In terms of player props have been killing it. You can see all these dubs. These are from yesterday, most of them, and some of them are from college football, Josh Hoover and Washington. There's some college football in there as well. But Flex Friday slip we had from Friday, we ended up hitting 5 out of 6, 100 for 560, so it ended up being a double up. It's not that bad. But regardless, guys, we'd love to have you in the Discord if you're not in there already. Links down in the description. And let's go ahead and jump in to some of these picks for today. And sorry, my screen's all over the place. I misclicked 3 times right there. But anyways, let's talk about this game, guys. We got the Lions taking on the Ravens. Right now, Detroit is plus 212 odds on the road versus Baltimore. Baltimore minus 212 odds at home. Obviously, minus 4.5-point favorites, which is plus 100 on both sides of the thing. So pretty much even odds there. And then over on this game is sitting at 53.5 total. So public betting has 70% of the money and 30% of the money on the Lions. And then you have 73% of the money on Baltimore covering the spread. And then 70% of the money is over 53 right now on the total, which that total is pretty high. I'm not going to lie. This game could be a shootout, man. Let's take a look at these teams. So far this season, Lions are 1-1. They just had a 52-21 victory over the Bears, coming off of a loss from Green Bay in Week 1's 13-27. Now, I will say that 13-27 score for Green Bay does not justify how close this game is. The Lions had a pick 6. It got called back. So that could take 7 points off right there. Then they also had another pick, or should have been a pick, straight into a defender's hands. He just didn't catch it. I mean, it was straight to him. So 2 potential interceptions in that game that could have made this game go into overtime or make it look a lot closer than it really was. So I'm just throwing it out there. That one I take with a grain of salt because it does look like they got beat by 2 touchdowns versus Green Bay. Ravens could probably beat Green Bay. What's going to happen there? You got to take it with a grain of salt, man. They just stomped the Bears. Not saying that's a huge victory, but they dominated the Bears. If you look at Ravens coming off a 41-40 loss for Buffalo, and then ended up with a 41-17 victory over the Browns. The Browns defense are legit. I'm not gonna lie, but they did have a lot of turnovers and things like that in that game. It made this score get out of hand. Browns defense looks phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie, they are those guys. So this game's gonna be close. I don't think this is gonna be a blowout. I think this game stays within a touchdown victory, most likely. Not going to say within 4.5, but maybe it is. Maybe a 2 field goal game. We'll see, man. What I like for this game is you got teaser options here. So I'm not posting a slip on the screen because I don't know exactly what I'm going to take yet. Now, right now I'm leaning the over on the total, and I'll buy a 7-point teaser. So that would bring this total down to 46.5. So I'm thinking over 46.5. And I'm not sure if I want to take Detroit plus 11.5 or if I want to take the Ravens plus 2.5. That's where I'm at right now. I'm probably going to end up taking Detroit plus 11.5 and then taking the over 46.5 because I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Detroit's going to keep the game close enough. If I have to pick a winner, I think Baltimore wins. I really do. But I also think that the Lions have a chance to win this game. I don't think this is just going to be like, yeah, everybody's going to be on the Ravens side of things. I think this game's going to be closer than we think, or I think everybody thinks it's going to be a close, good game. Most of us, anyway. But I think it's going to be a good one that could go either way. So, regardless, if I had to pick a winner, I'd take Baltimore money line for a teaser. I don't know for sure, but probably going to be taking Detroit plus 11.5 and then take it with the over 46.5 teaser for like minus 140 odds. I'll probably throw $400 or $500 on that and almost have a double up. So that's what I'm going to be rolling for this game. If you like it, take it. If you fade, if you want to fade it. You guys can run your own teasers, do whatever you want. If you think it's going to go under 60.5, it's another high scoring. 60.5 is a high total in NFL. So if you want to take the under 60.5, that might be better than the 46.5. And I'm not 100% what I'm going to do here yet. That's why I don't have a slip yet. I'm going to wait and kind of see how the money goes on this game throughout the day. And then probably a few hours before kickoff, I'll drop the slip for this one because I don't have my mind completely made up just yet. I want to wait a little bit and see what happens. But anyways, that's what I have for this game. Looking at this game over here on covers, which I pulled up on the last few videos. I've been trying this website out in terms of looking at defensive stats for the video. You can see Detroit's offense, man. Everything pointing to Detroit's offense over this Ravens defense. Detroit is your boy's struggling. Detroit is averaging 378.5 yards of offense per game right now, and then the defense for Baltimore is giving up 409.5 yards per offense. So they're giving up a ton of yards. If you look at the other side of things, Baltimore is getting 337 yards per offense, and the Detroit Lions defense is giving up 302 yards, which is below the average. But this is kind of split in the middle between which, if you're looking at defense versus offense, which team has the advantage. Now, I don't think this Detroit defense is going to be able to stop this Baltimore offense. And yes, I know I stuttered 45 times there. Just pretend it didn't happen. But I do think that it could go either way. And we're looking at points here. This is why I kind of like the over right now. This Ravens offense is averaging 40.5 points on offense, which is absolutely crazy. And then the defense from the Lions is giving up 24 points per game. So they're giving up a decent amount. That's 3 touchdowns and a field goal. If we click the other side of things, Detroit's offense is getting 32.5 points per game, and the Baltimore defense is giving up 30 points per game. So it's looking like it's going to be a shootout. That's why I like the total. That was my reason for that. I meant to show that before I gave my pick, but I kind of forgot a little bit. But regardless, guys, I do think the game stays close. I think it's going to be kind of a shootout game, and I'm probably going to take Detroit plus 11.5, reiterating what I said just a minute ago. That being said, let's jump into some player props. So I'm giving you guys 4 picks. Technically 5 picks. If you count one of them, I'm giving you an either or on this one. You can pick the one you like better, and I'll show you a slip that I locked in. But regardless, let's jump into the first pick. So the first pick of the day is going to be for our man Lamar Jackson. I'm taking Lamar. I'm going to take his fantasy score on Prizepicks over 22.5. I think this line's really good. I think he's going to cash this out. If you look at Lamar on this season so far, he's cashed it in both games. 29.3 in game 1, 26 fantasy in game 2 versus the Browns. Like I said, this is probably going to be a shootout. If we look at passing and rush yards for Lamar, he's averaging 258 per game. So we can look at Detroit's pass and rush defense. 196.5 passing yards per game and 106 rushing yards per game, which is middle of the pack in both defenses. If we look at the running and rushing offense for Baltimore, they run the ball 48% of the time and pass the ball 52% of the time. I don't know why the math ain't mathing for Outlier sometimes, but it don't on those percentages. That being said, we know Lamar can scramble. Had 70 rushing yards versus Buffalo. He had 13 rushing yards versus the Browns. Obviously, they kind of struggled to move the ball on the ground. I'm not going to lie. But I do think they have success this game versus the Lions, and I think Lamar is going to have a good game here. Obviously, 2 passing touchdowns is definitely doable for Lamar. If he scrambles for 50 yards, you obviously get 10. Every 10 rushing yards is going to be 1 point on fantasy. Every 25 passing yards is 1 point on fantasy. He could easily hit 300 yards in this game. I really do think that's possible. And I think that 22.5 just a little bit low. This one actually was 23 last night if you look at fantasy score. But it has come down by 0.5, which gives us even better value here. I think Lamar cashes this. If you want to fade it, you can. But I ended up locking it in last night at 23. So you're definitely getting better value right now if you want to take it on parlay play. Lamar Jackson. Fantasy score should be at the bottom, or they don't even have fantasy score for Lamar. Crazy, man. Parlay play going to have to step their game up. But that is going to be pick number 1. Jumping into our second player prop of the day. This one is the one I'm giving you an either or. I like both Gibbs and I like Goff for a fantasy score, and you can take the one that you want. I locked in Jahmyr Gibbs last night over 15.5 fantasy score. So let me find that. So 15.5 fantasy score. He's cashed it one of his 2 games this season. He had 15 in game 1 versus Green Bay, 19 in game 2 versus the Bears. If you look at him last season, he cashed his line 78% of games last season. He had an average of 22 fantasy score per game. You can look at this. Some of these games getting over 40. No head-to-head data for this. We can look at rushing yards this season. So he's averaging 56 rushing yards per game. He just had 94 versus Chicago. If you look at rushing yards allowed from Baltimore, they get up 111.5 rushing yards per game versus running back, it is 84. I do think Gibbs is going to have some success running the ball here. Obviously, Detroit throws the ball more than they run the ball. They throw the ball 58% of the time, run the ball 42% of the time. And if you look at that, the math actually math this time, which is crazy. Obviously, or if you don't know anything about fantasy score, a running back will get 1 point per reception as well. So you can take a look at receptions here for him. And obviously that'll really help him rack up his fantasy as well if I can find receptions. REC, receptions. So in game 1, he had 10 receptions versus Green Bay. Game 2, he had 3 versus the Bears. If you look at him last season, he was averaging 3 receptions per game on average. Some of these games getting high 6. If he gets 5 or 6 receptions, that's 5 or 6 fantasy, and he should catch this pretty easily. A rushing touchdown is going to be 6 fantasy points, and a receiving touchdown is going to be 4 fantasy points. So if he gets 1 rushing touchdown, gets a few receptions, and some yards, he's cashing this line. I think 15.5 is low for Gibbs if you want to lock that in, or you can take Goff at 17.5. I like Goff as well, and I'll show you why I like Goff in a minute when we jump in to our third player prop. And the third player prop that I have is Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So don't play these together in a 4-man. You're going against yourself a little bit on this one if you take Goff passing TDs and Jahmyr Gibbs over fantasy, because obviously we need rushing touchdowns for Gibbs so that he cashes his fantasy. And if you take Goff passing touchdowns, it could they're going against each other unless this is just a super high scoring game, which I think is going to be pretty high scoring. But betting on 4 TDs from 2 players is going to be pretty tough. But if you look at Baltimore, they have the 25th ranked passing defense in the league, giving up 2 passing touchdowns per game. Goff had 5 passing TDs his last game versus the Bears, and he had 1 versus Green Bay in game 1. Last season, he cashed this in 12 of 18 games. 67% of games, he had 2 passing touchdowns. Obviously, they're going to throw the ball through the air a lot. This Ravens passing defense is very weak. We can hit passing yards here. You can look at the Ravens. They give up 298 passing yards per game so far this season, and that is versus the Browns and versus the Browns and versus the Bills. So the Bills we knew threw for over 400, which builds this line up a little bit. But they're ranked 32nd in the league, man. Worst passing defense right now in terms of yards allowed. So I think Goff's going to have a lot of success through the air. If you want to take his fantasy over Gibbs, then that's totally up to you. I like Gibbs a little better. I'm just going to throw it out there. But Goff is definitely an option. And if Gibbs chalks, I think Goff cashes. So if you want to play these in 2 different slips or something like that, you definitely can. But pick number 3 I ended up going with passing TDs instead of taking a fantasy score. I ended up doing that. So let me find passing touchdowns right here. We took Jared Goff. over 1.5 passing TDs. So this was our first slip. Lamar Jackson and Gibbs. I'm going to make this slip pop up real quick, or I'm going to show it to you real fast. So what I locked in last night, so you're getting better value right now. I got it at 23 and at 16, 100 to win 275. I'm pretty sure it's a 3x right now at 20 at lower numbers. So you're getting way better value. So that's still 2.7x. So $100 is going to win you 275, or 150 wins you 412. If you want to lock these in, you can do it with either Goff or Gibbs, like I said. And then I'm taking Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns, which I just showed you guys. And I'm going to pair it with field goals made from our man Tyler Loop. So I'm taking Baltimore to get 1 field goal. I do think the Lions defense does get a couple stops this game. I almost took the punter. I decided not to take any punts in this game because I'm betting on it to be a shootout, and 4 punts is a lot in a shootout game. But Goff and Loop, I like this slip a lot, man. It's a double up. So 150 is going to win you 300. Tyler Loop, we can take a look at him this season so far. I think he's had 2 field goals in every game both games this season. I believe. Don't hold me to that. He did. He had 2 versus Buffalo, 2 versus Cleveland. Obviously no data from last year, but regardless, I think he gets at least 1 field goal tonight. I think that's definitely going to be there. This could be a field goal win game, a kicking a field goal to win the game. So you never know how that's going to happen. Loop should be good for a field goal. I like it a lot. We couldn't take this right here. Let's see if Goff passing touchdowns is on parlay play, and we'll lock it in live. Passing TDs, yes. And then Tyler Loop should be on here. 0.5 field goals made. This does give you a 2.03x, and I have a free $5 entry. So we're going to place this, and then I'm actually going to put a legit unit on it. So Tyler Loop, Jared Goff, passing TDs, 2.03x. I'm going to put, I might make this an even $5,000 in my account. I'll put 494. Can I do 494.12? No, I can't do a decimal. Yeah, I can. No, I can't. I might just do 494 to make this an even $5,000, and then this will give me a $1,000 win if it cashes. So let's hit that. Continue. Come over here to track pick so you can see. I'll refresh so you guys know it's legit. 494 to win $1,002.82. Goff 1.5 passing TDs. Tyler Loop over 1.5 or over 0.5 field goals made. Got it locked in. So that's what I got for today, guys. I know I struggled to talk in this video. Your boy honestly just woke up and I had to get this video out pretty quick. I slept in a little later than I wanted to this morning, so bear with me on my speech impediment today. But anyways, I do hope you guys have an awesome day. These are the 4 picks that we had locked in. If I can find a Gibbs, we had Goff 1.5 passing touchdowns, Tyler Loop 0.5 field goals made, Lamar 22.5 fantasy, Gibbs 15.5 fantasy. If you want to play passing yards for either of these quarterbacks, I do not think they're bad plays at all, especially Goff. Goff at 260, a little bit high. Lamar at 233. I can see people wanting to buy these down, like Lamar at 199.5, I think is a great play. Goff at 224.5, I think is a great play. But you guys can do what you want with it. You guys can play around these numbers. I think both quarterbacks have great games. That's why I like fantasy for both of them as well. But regardless, that's what I have for this video. Hope you guys cash out. Join our Discord if you haven't already, and I'll see y'all in tomorrow's video.